Hi guys, very good evening. And so in this tutorial, I'm going to actually talk something very important, which we discussed in our recent, in one of my recent the live sessions, and I found it very interesting. And I thought, why not go ahead and share this the lecture with you? Okay, you have already learned the if functions. I know that you have already seen how the if function works with the loops. You already know that how to write the multiple ifs. I'm talking about the else if commands, right? So we have a very small project, and we are going to now talk about that what is the difference between the nested ifs and the on the other side, if you simply go and write the multiple ifs, but they are not going to be the else if, right? I'll just explain you. First of all, let me just show you this code. So today morning, I was giving the lecture on this part, and some questions came from my students, and then finally we had a very powerful, very logical code, finally built up. So I thought it's very interesting. Let's go and share this with you guys. Okay, so this is a new tutorial, absolutely fresh tutorial for you. Okay, as and when I find something interesting, I will be coming back here and giving you all that information, right? So guys, the project was, when I was explaining them about the if and the all that, the else if functions, which I had explained already. We said that we have the employee ID, and we have the age of network, as you can see in Excel, and then the city and the salary. Okay, and we wanted to have a new salary. Now this is a condition. Have a look on this we have done previously also, nothing new about it. If the age of network, that means the time, the number of years associated with the company, if the employee has number of years greater than 5, then we would like to give the 120% increment to the current salary. Okay, if the age of network is between 3 and 5, then we like to give 110. If the age of network with the company is between 1 and 2 year, then we like to give the 105% hike on the salary. And if the age of network is less than 1, then we don't want to give any hike, we simply want to have the same salary. And if the age of network is blank, that means if I go and delete something from here, then we want to say that it's a new joinee. So these are how many conditions are. This is a first condition, this is a second condition, this is a third condition, this is a fourth condition, and this is a fifth condition, right? So as usual, we started this with the first we declared here age of network as byte, salary as long, and j as long, and then we started writing the loop over here. Okay, now in this particular example, what I will do is I will create my this age of network as a variant, because of the reason that I simply want to go and declare this age of network as blank also. Okay, so blank means a string, right? You can't just go and use that the byte data type. So let us go and try to understand this code. So first we said that there is a loop which I have written here, which is going to run from 2 to 8. Why 2 to 8? Obviously, this is second row, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We have done this before also. So I am going to create two variables, age of network and the salary. And this is I'm going to pick up from the j, as you can see here. So the moment the j will become 2, we will have a second row comma second column target. So that means I'm going to capture the b2, and then I'm going to capture at the same time the column number, the salary. So I'm going to capture here not 3, basically 4, right? Because then I will have the salary over here. And now then we will go and start doing the comparison. So the moment I go and run this command here, you see that I will have my j as 2, and then I will be able to calculate my age of network, my a1 variable, which is going to come 3, and this salary is 100. So this 3 and 100 I have got it, right? So once you have done this, I simply then use the nested if, else if, right? So we said that if the age of network is going to be greater than 5 as per this condition, then what you want to do, then you simply want to go in the e cell, and here it is not going to be 4, actually the fifth column, right? So I have to go and change this in the entire code. So I'm going to make this the entire 4 as 5, right? Because when I was taking a session, I had this on the D columns, and that's why it is written on the fourth column. But then after the session I did some changes and I forgot to do that here. Anyways, that's okay now. So age of network is not greater than 5. So what is going to happen? Obviously this then part will not be executed. So we will go in the next else if, isn't it? Now in the next else if, I will do the again one more comparison, and this time we are saying that it has to be greater than equals to 3 and less than equals to 5, which means it is between 3 and 5, and your age of network is actually between 3 and 5, right? So this is very simple. Now we will go in this, the row number, which is called the row number, this the 2, and the column number 5, which is obviously the E2, and here we will have the 110% printed, as you can see here in Excel, right? Well, anyways, I'm not here to talk about all this. I just wanted to give you some idea about it. Now let us see why we are here. Okay, what is a new thing we are going to learn in this? Now you see that immediately when this line gets executed, I said this before also, that when you go and write the else if commands, there is no way that two else if or more than two else if are going to be executed. It is always a one else if which gets executed. So in this situation, when I have this then part executed, my this entire if function, it exited from the code, and it your this the arrow, your this the macro, it actually exit from all the else if and else, and it came on the end if part, on the end if line, right? And now from here we will go forward, and then we will go for the next j. Now in the next j, obviously you will have a j as 3, so now you will see here a new salary. So I have got here new salary and age of net for everything. I mean, salary is also changed. You can see here we have got this 200, right? So again we will go and check that. So this is again going to be found in this, and we have 220 and done, right? Same way again this loop will work, and now you have a age of network as 6, which is actually greater than 5. Now you can see this is the then area which is executing, and we are going to multiply this with the 120%, and finally we are done with this, right? So this process keeps on going, right? And I just go and press F5. Okay, now here comes the important part. Now this is okay. Now you can go and write this program in a different way also. Okay, how it is going to be written? See this. I'm not going to use the else if. Now what I have done here is, if you look at this, the same output. First of all, I'm going to run this code for you. Okay, here also I have declared the age of network as variant, salary as long. Why I have declared this as variant? Because here I'm actually using the age of network as space, right? The same criteria. So I'm saying that if it is blank, then just go and print there as new joinee instead of hiking, giving any hike in the salary, right? So new joinee is a, when you do the comparison with the space, you can't take your data type as integer or long or byte. That's why we declared here as a variant, so that the numbers can also be taken care of, and if there is any blank, that can also be taken care of, right? Now guys, you see what is happening here in this entire code. We are writing the if functions several times. Okay, and these all if are getting closed immediately after the else. So this is completely one if, and this is the another if and end if, this is the another if and end if, right? And this is the another if and end if. Okay, and same way, so we are not writing here the nested if, we are not actually going to write here the else if. And if I go and show you, if I click on this F5, so first of all, let me go and change this to salary as j comma 4, because this is the salary I'm going to target, and then this is going to be again my 5. I'll quickly pause the video and I come back here by changing these all the fourth columns as 5, right? Okay, so I'm done with my changes. You can see here I have given the column number 5 because we are going to target the E. Now you need to see this very carefully. When I go and run this, the same loop, I'm going to run this 2 to 8, right? So here from here I'm going to capture my age of network, which is coming from J as 2, which is row number 2 and the column number 2. So you have the age of network 3 and you have the salary 100, this one, right? Now what we are saying that if the age of network is greater than 5, then go in this line, otherwise in the else don't do anything. So finally what happens, because your age of network is 3, which is not greater than 5, this will go in the else mode, we know that, and in the else condition we are not writing anything, guys. So what happens? It finished, right? Now here, can you look at this? Are you noticing what is happening? The moment I press F8, it did not go to the end if. It is exactly, going to execute the next line which is coming after this end if. You know why? Because this is not the else if. This if, they all are different. So this is not going to work like the previous code where what we said that if this else if is going to execute, if this statement is going to be executed, then rest of the statements will immediately be ignored, will be skipped, right? And your code will stop here, right? Your code will basically bypass all these else ifs and it comes to this end if statement, because here you can't execute all these lines, all these else if. This is the difference between this else if and the way you go and write this, right? So here now we will go and the another comparison. So this is going to be qualified here because my age of network is equals to 3. So finally we have here a value which is going to be multiplied, a salary which is 100 going to be multiplied with the 110%. So we have got the answer, right? Now you would ask me that if I have got the answer, then why not to go and use this code? What is the difference between this way and the code which we have written previously? Now look at this. Imagine if right now we know that all the conditions which we are testing here, they are not going to clash. They all are different conditions, the same conditions which I have written here, right? Because if I have age of network greater than 5, it can't be between 3 and 5. Anything which is between 3 and 5, that can't be between 1 and 2. Anything which is between 1 and 2, that can't be less than 1. So all the conditions are different. That is why what happens in this case, you will not have any problem, because if I have got something between 3 and 5, this condition will not ever be going to execute, right? But the point is, in case in an environment where you may have two conditions getting satisfied, you will be in a trouble then, because then the last condition, if it get executed, the previous condition, the value coming out from the previous, the result coming out from the previous if condition will be overwritten. I'm going to show you that. First of all, let's go and run this. Now every time we will go in the else mode, right? We are going in the else mode, that's okay, but you see that you're getting the difference, right? It is going to execute all the if because all the ifs are different, right? So this way the entire process keeps on running and you have the same answer. I go and press F5, right? So in this situation you can use this if or you can use the else if, the previous code. But now I'm going to give you a condition where now you will think twice before using this sort of if. Okay, let's come back here, let's go down here and let's talk about this. Now see this, understand this, this is very very important. Okay, now what we are saying here, now we are saying here, I have put here one more condition. All the conditions are same, all the conditions are same. You can see here, we see that age of network, if it is greater than 5, then increment has to be 120%. If the age of network between 3 and 5, some appraisal has to be given, which is 110%. Age of network between 1 and 2, 105. Age of network less than 1, same salary. Age of network blank, new joining. But can you see that one more thing over here? If my city is DL, if my city is DL, then I do not want to give any salary increment, right? What I want to do is I want to basically display here not eligible. I mean, this is what I want to do, not eligible, right? Now you would, if you would go and try to, if you go and try to write this sort of code using this if condition, this without the else if, see what is going to happen here. It's very interesting. Now in this particular example, first of all, I want to tell you what is a main challenge here. Now, in the previous example, all the conditions were different. They never clashed with each other, right? They never overlapped. In this situation, see this. This employee ID 44, right? This person has a city called DL, right? So if the city is DL, ideally your code should say not eligible, isn't it? Over here, right? Because we said that anyone who is from DL city, that person is not going to give any salary hike. In fact, we will go and display here not eligible. But at the same time, when you go and check the other conditions, for example this condition, the person is coming from DL but his age of network is 3, which is coming here also. Now the point is, you would go and ask your management, are you trying to say that the person is from DL, so he should be checked first, or a person who has an age of network between 3 and 5, that should be given the first priority? If they ask you why, then you obviously will tell them that what if I have a both clashes? The person is from DL and at the same time his age of network is between 3 and 5, or maybe a person is DL but the age of network is greater than 5. Both the conditions are getting satisfied. It can happen, isn't it? Right? Like in this situation, it is happening. So you want I should go and display not eligible, or you want I should go and just give the 105% or whatever the salary hike. So they say that no, if the person is from DL, let's not even go and talk about the salary part. Let's immediately go and declare that person as not eligible. So the first priority you're gonna set up is the city DL. Okay, so I said, all right, that's okay, then let's go and do that. So now then what I did is I created here three variables: age of network, salary, and the city. And then this is for my loop. Again, we are starting the same loop. Pay attention here. I'm going to capture the age of network, the salary, and the city, obviously using all these commands. This you already know, right? J comma 2, J comma 4, J comma 3. So in the second column I have my age of network, third I have my city, and then I have my salary. Okay, so when you go and start this condition, see what is going to happen. I'm not using here else if, I'm using here the if condition, but they all are independent. So the first condition which I have mentioned here, guys, that if the city is going to be DL, then what we are supposed to do? Well, the city is captured here DL, the salary is 100, and the age of network is 3, right? So we have captured these three items, right? Because we are on the second row. Now what happens when you have the city coming as DL? Obviously your code will go in this then mode, and it prints in the column number 5 and the row number 2 as not eligible, right? Very nice. We think that we are going good here. Now the point is, because this is not a else if, your statement will go in the next line. Your cursor, this yellow arrow will go in the next line, and it will go and check for the next condition. Now in this condition, do you have the age of network greater than 5? No, it is not. Okay, great. So we go in the else mode. Now the next if is going to be checked, and there we go. Now you have a problem, guys. You can see here, you got the age of network between 3 and 5. So finally you are in this then area, and if you are in this then area, the previous if is going to be completely wiped off, right? With this new result, we are going to overwrite this. So when I go and run this, you have a big time problem here, right? So in this situation, what happened, because this condition also got satisfied, this condition also got satisfied, so obviously the thing which you have written later, that is going to replace the previous situation, right? So in this way, if I go and run this program, I will never ever see here not eligible, not eligible, right? This is now not a good coding, isn't it? So in this scenario, basically you cannot afford to write the independent if. Okay, so what you're supposed to do here, in this case, now you are going to change this code. So I'm going to copy this, and this time now I will go and write the code for you. So I go and completely select this entire code from here, and we'll go and start writing the else if. Okay, and then we will see if else if is going to work for us or not. Okay, there we go. So I have copied the code, guys. Let's quickly go and run this, and this is the second part. Okay, so everything remains the same. The only thing which I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to remove all these else if, right? And I'm going to fix this with the else if, isn't it? Else if, this is how we go and write it, right? Now for you it may take some time, obviously, because you are a beginner, but nothing special about me. It's just that I have done a lot of practice. I've spent a lot of years in this. That's why I'm able to make this code pretty fast. But you should not get frustrated, because I see that students, they generally get very frustrated when they go and practice, right? Initially, guys, you have to spend a lot of time. After all, this is a programming. This is going to take your career to a new height, right? And this is going to help you in learning the other programmings also fast. So it's worth spending good amount of time on this. Okay, and if you have any problem, I'm here to help you, as I always say. So this is how I have just have written the entire code, and finally I'm writing here one last else and sorry, one last else if. I quickly go and put this as else if, right? Else if age of network is this, then do something else, do something which is not nothing. Actually, I'm not doing here anything. So guys, finally when I've converted this code using the else if, now let's go and check that. Okay, so let's go and check that and see that if we are now going to work on this or not. So there we go. So let's go and run this. Okay, so I'm going to run this, and now finally we are going to capture all the values, right? So we have got here age of network, which is 3, and I've got here my salary 100. I've got here my city as DL. Perfect. Now you know your city is going to be what, DL, right? So what happens? You go in then area and you print here not eligible, and immediately your code is completely out of the else if. This is fantastic, guys. This is what I actually discussed today in the class, when we were talking. So every time when I take my classes, something new come out, so I found it very genuine and very interesting from the knowledge perspective. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. Okay, now guys, this is something which is done. So obviously this is what we needed. So once we have the end if, we go for the next condition, and then in the next condition we have a city called CST. So this goes in the another condition. Now here it finds the age of network, obviously the 4, which is between 3 and 5. And finally, when this is going to run, this value will never be overwritten, because the moment I print this value, it immediately goes in the end if mode. So when you go and press F5, I hope by now you have understood what I'm trying to say. So you got here not eligible, not eligible, right? So sometimes you have a choice. You can go and write these if functions individually, and or at the same time you may write else if, but sometimes you don't have a choice. So it all depends what you're trying to do. Okay, so download this file, go and practice on it, and I'm here to assist you. If you have any questions, just go and ask me. Okay, I will be more than happy to assist you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.